Good evening, humans. Tyrannosaurusmoth here, and tonight we're taking a look at the WWE Elite Collection 97 Chainsaw Charlie figure from Mattel. This is a character I didn't realize exactly how badly I needed until this year and it was announced. So let's take a look at the details. Let's do this. Aesthetically speaking, this figure looks awesome. However, there's one point of contention, one little place they cut a corner that I have an issue with, but we'll get to that. And first, just the head sculpt looks awesome. Again, he wore kind of torn pantyhose over his head, so it's a hard look to kind of get down. But I think they nailed it, especially in even the cornstarch or flour. I think transferred really well. I mean, again, it's going to be tampograph, so it's not going to be as subtle as maybe it would have been in real life. But yeah, it looks really cool. Maybe a little more buff, a little more slim than he was in real life, certainly at this point. But yeah, it looks excellent. And the color combination totally works for a toy. It is toyetic, as they say. And yeah, that brings me to the one point of contention. The one thing I had an issue with was just the belt. And there's no color whatsoever. It's just blue like the jeans are. The buckle isn't done at all. The paint's kind of sloppy. That's a little sad. But it is what it is. It's certainly something that I could paint up, and I might at some point. But for now, just right out of the box, a little sad. Actually, not even paint. It is painted itself blue, so I could probably just remove the paint and then add to the buckle. But that's beside the point. And then we get to the boots, and the boots are fully painted, which is very, very nice. Even the soles. So yeah, we get a really nice look all around for this figure. When it comes to accessories, we get pretty much everything we would need for this figure. So let's take a look. And right out of the box, we get some C-grip hands with the kind of taped up look to them. And then we also get a pair of fists. Same thing with the kind of taped up look. Excellent. Then we get two different head sculpts. As we've seen at the beginning of the review, we get the kind of masked head, which you can see with the hair poking out there and the flour or cornstarch, whatever it was that he was using. And then we get the unmasked, just straight up Terry Funk head. Great sculpt here. You can see the headband sticks out a little bit, but I mean, obviously they do in real life, so not really a big issue there. But yeah, really cool piece to add, especially because as Chainsaw Charlie, he did go unmasked at one point at a WrestleMania, so absolutely appropriate. And then of course, the chainsaw. And this looks pretty cool. The body of it looks excellent. Some great details with the vents, the pull chain, kind of the grip there. And the blade's a little, I wouldn't say lacking. I mean, it looks accurate, it just doesn't have a chain on it, which naturally it's not going to. They're not going to put like that much crazy effort into it. But overall, it's like definitely a cool looking piece and absolutely completes the figure. So that is accessories. When it comes to articulation, our situation is even better than it needs to be, which is always welcome. So let's break it down from top to bottom. So our head is on that dumbbell joint. We're not really going to get any up because of this head sculpt. I think we get a little bit more with the just straight up Terry Funk head sculpt. Going to get about that far down and a little bit of tilt because that dumbbell joint does allow for a little bit more movement. Come to these shoulders. We're getting just into our T-pose, actually probably just a little bit past. We have bicep swivel. We have double jointed elbows bringing us to there. We have hinge and swivel at the wrists, all horizontal. We get in standard ab crunch and going about that far forward, about that far back. Not as good as we've been seeing lately, but I think this is an older buck in terms of the torso anyway. We come to the hips and we're getting that far out. Oh, I forgot. We do have a swivel at the waist, hindered only slightly by the suspenders. And the belt piece does move, but it is painted pretty much to the figure. So yeah, again, really good range in the hips. And our kick forward is almost there. It's a little bit past the 90-degree mark. Then we get thigh swivel. We get double jointed knees, bringing us completely in half. And no boot or shin swivel, obviously, but we do get a little bit of movement at the feet. Not really any point because the sculpt, not really forward because the sculpt, but we do get some very generous rocker for an elite figure. So that's articulation. Getting into size comparisons, here he is with some other WWE figures, with some other wrestling lines, with some Hasbro and some Mattel, with some imports, with some monsters. Finally, with articulated icons Oni and yours truly in human form as a Valaverse Action Force figure. So my final thoughts on the WWE Elite 97 Chainsaw Charlie figure from Mattel is that this figure kicks ass. As I had said at the beginning of the review, you know, I didn't know how much I needed this figure in my collection until it was announced, and then just, I don't know, I have a lot of nostalgia for this particular character, and having learned the backstory to how this came about, it just endeared the whole thing to me even more, even if Terry Funk might be slightly embarrassed by it. So yeah, just fantastic figure for just such a ridiculous idea, and you know, I can't recommend it enough. So honestly, if you're a fan of Terry Funk's history, of the Chainsaw Charlie character in particular, of just the Attitude Era and all the insanity that happened during then, absolutely pick this up, and is available at various online retailers. I'm assuming this wave will hit shelves at some point, probably in a month or two. But yeah, absolutely pick it up. So I'll have links in the description below for you to pick it up if you are so interested. And with that being said, I hope you found this review informative and somewhat entertaining. If you did, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all of that fun stuff. And you know, if you want to take the next step, I'll have all of those links in the description as well. So I want to thank you one last time for watching, and I hope you take care of yourself, take care of those around you, and most importantly, stay weird, simians.